everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Top of the Pods, where we, of course, discussing everything movies. We like to take a list that we have selected in advance and tear it to shreds and rebuild it the way that we feel the list should have been listed in the first place. And how we do that is that we watch every movie on the list, and then we catch up. A couple of weeks later, we have a bit of a chat about them, and then we build our list. The only list that matters, the Top of the Pods list. As always, I am joined by my other half, Booker G, 5 times. How are you, dear?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Excellent.
Warm,
Excellent. Yes.
Muggy, roasting.
Yeah. Weather's fierce muggy in Ireland today for the last, the last maybe 2 or 3 weeks now. It's been really, really muggy. Great drying out there for the washing, but other than that, it's been very, very muggy. And we'll be back to rain soon, and then we'll be like, oh, it is raining. Sure, you can't win. If you're not going to be complaining about something, sure, what's the point? Like, we're in for happy. Yeah. And then, of course, we are joined by movie royalty, one of the pillars of hashtag Deep Red Productions, and soon to be a global phenomenon in the world of film. It is, of course, our one and only Phil. Phil, what's happening?
All good. So we're still editing away on our feature movie. So hopefully by the end of this month we should. Well, no,
still due out in October.
July. End of July is when we should have something.
Ooh.
Are you still due? They have it out in October.
Yeah, we're hoping for a screening at the Indie Cork Festival in October. So that should definitely one to watch. I think the hard part now is going to be doing the audio once we're edited. That's the tough part.
So is that do you have to record the audio separately now as well?
We did that already. So you do that when you film the stuff, you do it on a recorder.
Yeah.
But now it has to go to a guy. Then, well, not now, but in the end of July, it has to go to a guy to fix. Just so it's not like. Do you ever notice when it kind of cuts to another camera angle, you don't hear? Yeah, seamless. Yeah, you just have to level all the airs out and add the music and all that kind of stuff. So
pretty tedious. So
it's long.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hard work in it. And then in between that, I suppose we've other stuff like music videos and a couple of more shorts. Actually, I think Emmett's making a new one. So
amazing! I tell you, lads, watch this space because like. Phil makes it sound like it's all blasé and it's all just part of his day, but I'm telling you now, give it maybe a couple of years and I think we'll be sat here doing a top 10 Deep Red Productions movie list. I'm pretty sure we will.
We definitely have at least 20 something between the three of us.
There we go. I'm telling you now. And if Phil is able to find a few minutes of his time to join us and he remembers us in his Oscars speech, who are we to argue? We'd be so happy and so grateful. You know, what about we'll be sat next to him for sure. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah.
So we took a new list for the month of June. And of course, June is the month where we celebrate Pride. Now, as I said, we take a list and we dismantle it, watch all the movies and put it back together. So this month, we decided to choose the list from Esquire.com. So Esquire.com had come up with the top 10 LGBTQ plus movies of all time. So we went away and we watched all of them and we are now going to put our own list together. Now, that's it. This is Esquire's list, okay? Not our list. We will make our own from it. And we are very, very aware that there are some amazing movies out there as well that may not have made the top 10 of their list, but should we have put our own list together, I'm sure we would have had them in there. Hashtag Brokeback Mountain. So with that, some of these movies, guys, not an easy watch.
No. Again, we were saying earlier, like before we came on, that there's a lot of true stories in there. It was tough. Again, I think that people should watch these in general just for historical purposes and just to learn how. I suppose we're still kind of educating ourselves every day.
Yeah.
About all this kind of the past, I suppose, and there's a lot of we'll talk about it in a few of them because I thought one or two aged. You wouldn't think it until you kind of watch them back. I suppose I haven't seen a lot of these in years.
Yeah, that is true. I just say, you know, quick disclaimer. Obviously, some of these movies were made back in the 70s. Some of them were as recent as 2020. So when you do go to watch this list, which we highly recommend you do, it's night and day. You'll see the differences, you know, in a lot of the movies. As Phil said, from a historical point of view, absolutely, to see where we were, how far we've come and how far we still have to go. and also educational purposes, because I think a lot of people see, which they absolutely should, see the celebration, the color, the life, the vivaciousness, the action, the celebratory requirements for the month of Pride. But it's important to know where all that came from and why it is being celebrated. You know, I think that's super, super important as well.
100%. And as like I said, again, like Phil said before we come on, like it's a different era now. Like I said, 20 years ago, if people were, you know, going to watch something like this, you know, it would have been hard to find this list, first of all. And a lot of people would have been uncomfortable watching the movies because 20 years ago, it wasn't as acceptable as it is now. You know, even though it's not your place to be acceptable for you, either like something or you don't like, but, you know, leave people be themselves. If somebody wants to be whatever they want to be. You know, so, but, you know, 20 years ago, if you were watching a movie and two lads started kissing in the movie, a lot of people would have been uncomfortable. They wouldn't have wanted to watch it. They would have turned it off. Like nowadays, you know, it's no big deal. Like,
it's second nature now, isn't it?
You see it all the time. It's just, you see it in public, you see it everywhere. So it's one of, you just got used to seeing it now, so you're not uncomfortable with it anymore. So getting to watch these movies, like, you know, that we wouldn't have watched 20 years ago is important as well. So I definitely recommend people go out and watch some of them at least, and go and, you know, educate yourselves.
Especially now when you have the opportunity, the option and the opportunity to do so, because as I said, a lot of it is generational as well, you know, because going back 20-30 years, these would not have been widely available to watch, you know, really, or, you know, they wouldn't have been promoted or pushed as much as they are now, or I suppose as readily available. Now, look, come here, I want to hang around in the 70s, so I'm not really sure. But we've all had our own experiences, you know, we all know how it was, but it's great to see the progress that has been made and what else can be done. So with that, I think we'll crack straight into our list, and we'll start at their number 10 and we'll work our way up, okay? And just, guys, if you want to let me know where you placed these movies in your list, and then we'll compile it at the end and see what we come up with. So starting with Can You Ever Forgive Me? So Can You Ever Forgive Me has Melissa McCarthy in the main lead role as struggling writer, I suppose we could call her. I think she's gone beyond struggling at this point.
Writer's block.
Yeah, writer's block, I think, has been blocked a while. But she's also in a lot of financial difficulty, and, you know, where we've all been, you're trying to find a way, I suppose, out, you know, or trying to find a way to put things right, trying to earn a quick buck, trying to make a bit of money, going everywhere you possibly can where you think you might get maybe a free meal or, you know, a free drink, or, you know, kind of doing a little bit of mingling, etc., etc. But and ends up resorting to selling forged letters from famous writers. And she seems to do it really, really well, because she gets away with it for a very long time and makes a decent buck out of it. This placed number 10 on this list, guys. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. Do you know why? Excuse me. Because I don't think the fact that both herself and Richard E. Grant, I love Richard E. Grant. I absolutely love him. He's just, I think he's great. I love him. I always do. And he's like, best hotel secrets, I love it. So Richard E. Grant's Hotel Secrets, I love it. I'm just, you know,
best Loki variant ever.
Take no notice of me. Yes, take no notice of me. But I really enjoyed this, and the reason is because their sexuality wasn't pushed into my face, right? And I don't mean that in a bad way. What I mean is that a lot of movies try too hard to scream at you what type of movie they're trying to be. I felt like I was watching two friends I knew, didn't care what their preferences were or anything like that. I didn't feel that was shoved into my face, which is so important, because yes, it's important to highlight it, but I felt like I was watching two people on the screen. I didn't have to think and say, right, I am very, very aware of the type of movie I'm watching. And that's what made me really, really enjoy this. I didn't give it a second thought. So this was actually number 3 on my list.
Yeah,
nice.
So that was quite high, I know, but I thoroughly enjoyed that for that reason. I felt like I was watching a movie without being slapped in the face with, or been made to, I felt like my mind wasn't being made up for me, you know, that kind of a way. I really enjoyed it. Guys?
Phil?
Yeah, like, I was surprised it was on the list. There's certain films in the because it was a top 50 list that we had, and there's a few down below, like as you said, Brokeback Mountain. Could have been in there because I suppose the thing, as you were saying, like the subtlety of the LGBTQ was kind of in the background more, as you said, or not in your face. It was I liked it. I didn't love it.
Where did it fall on your list, Phil?
I wasn't sure what to expect because I didn't even watch the trailer. It is, where does it come? 7, I think. 7.
Number 7 on Phil's list.
Yeah, so I liked it. It was quite good. She was actually, I think she was Oscar nominated for this as well.
I think so, yeah.
I thought she done
Melissa
great in the
McCarthy.
role. I really
So it
did,
was
and I liked the plot.
quite interesting.
Yeah.
But the only thing that I didn't get, I didn't know what year it was for a while, for ages.
Yeah.
Well, like it's
Like,
based on a true
Was it
story.
the 80s, was it?
Yeah, 83, 84, I think, in between December 83, 84, something like that. But it's based on a true story. It's based like it was actually read to the end of the film, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just the credits started rolling, and it started telling the story of actually the prison sentence she got, or whatever she got, the community service or whatever.
Yeah.
So that actually turned the movie for me itself. Regardless, like I love Richard E. Grant as well. Thought he was brilliant in this.
Didn't know you loved him.
Yeah,
He's
I'm a
brilliant,
big
yeah.
fan of his.
Right.
With Neil and I, he's one of my favorite films of all time, so I was just obsessed with him from that. I'm not a big fan of Melissa McCarthy. I don't think she's funny at all. I don't like any of her movies when she's trying to be funny. So she was more serious in this than comedy. So it was a change. Not that I would go out of my way and watch any of her movies.
I really got upset when the cat died.
Yeah,
really
that
got
was
upset when that cat died.
that was hard. That was like again, like, you know, a lot of these films have that, you know, not cat thing, but you know, they have a heartbreaking moment on it that really takes you back, takes you out of the film itself. You're just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And I don't like cats either. But it was
the attachment she had to the cat.
attachment.
It's the only good thing in her life.
Yeah.
You know, and like she left him to try and earn a bit more money, and fucking Richard E. Grant, love you, killed it. You know, so it was tough.
Wrong tactics.
Where did that fall?
Number 5 in my list.
We're quite spread out on that, aren't we? Wow. Excellent. But yeah, I think you're right with Melissa McCarthy doing a serious role. It was really, really cool to see it, and I thought she done it really, really well. Coming into number 9, then we had Call Me By My Name. Call Me By Your Name.
Call me anything. Just don't call me in the top 10.
Call Me By Your Name, isn't it?
Yes, call me.
Myself.
I don't know.
Call Me By Your Name. Call Me by my.
Why do you stop saying it? The film was called Call Me By Your Name.
Sorry.
It was made in 2017.
Sorry. All right. Go on. Sorry, dear. Go ahead. I compose myself.
Set in Northern Italy, isn't it? It's, even though there's a lot of French dialect in it, it's actually set in Northern Italy, so don't get confused. There is subtitles in it, but we watched it with the subtitles turned off and didn't know what they were saying halfway through most of it. So
we got the gist.
We knew what they were talking about. I'll go for it. This came at number 7 on my list. I'm not really sure what they make of it. It was all over the place, to be honest.
Really was.
Yeah, kind of what. Even before we watched it with your man Armie Hammer, whatever his name is, like, you know, what's going on with him at the minute kind of threw me out of the film at all. Trying to watch the film with him in it, it was kind of distracting. The acting was good in it, though. Don't get me wrong, there was some phenomenal acting in it, but it's a story of a teenage man, whatever you want to call him.
Summer fling,
Yeah, summer fling, like not really sure of his sexuality yet, still trying to figure out whether he's, you know, bisexual or homosexual, or is he, which way he's going to turn. When he, you know, obviously when he gets older, he may decide to become fully blown homosexual or stay bisexual, but he obviously just finding his feet as a teenager. So, and then this was it me, or did, like, he was an assistant to his dad, right? And he never really seemed to do anything for his dad. All he did was hang about with his son.
Yeah. Swim, sunbathe, and ate their food.
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing.
Older.
They were coming there all the way to Italy to work for some rich aristocrat or whatever he did for a living. I'm not sure, he was a professor for something, but I'm sure he was loaded. But he didn't do any work really. He did a bit of research. They went out and to dig or find something under the water or some shit, and that was pretty much all they did really in it. The rest was him fucking sunbathing with his son, which is, you know, obviously the dad knew the son was gay in the film, so yeah, didn't really do anything for me. I just, again, had him being in the film trying to throw me out of it. So you know, number 7 for me.
Yeah, the same for me. Where he's very difficult because of all the stories and documentaries mental about him as well.
Yeah,
I think he's no comeback. I think he's finished. It's very difficult to watch because, with, as you said, with him, you're always thinking about the wrong things. But for me, the big thing with this, I never want to see a peach again.
Oh my God. Where did this on your list, Phil? Out of it?
10.
10.
Yeah. It was just as you said, it was all over the place. It was like 5 different films in one.
Yeah.
Although in saying that, the end of it, I actually did quite like when they went away and then he left him. There was at least there was a bit of emotion to that. The rest of it seemed very humorless and dry and just dragged and dragged. It did feel like it was on for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It was just, I don't like to use the word soulless, but it was kind of borderline. There was not a lot happened in it. Besides him leaving him at the end. And unnecessary peach stuff and unnecessary nudity as well.
Yeah. I'm so glad you said that, Phil, and that I'm not the only one, because I thought this was utter shite. I thought it was absolute utter shite. Aside from fruit activity.
From an artistic point of view and from a filmmaking point of view, I actually thought it was clever. And I was going to say, from a filmmaking point, it was clever because there was a lot of long shots, which I really liked.
Yeah.
A lot of people love their cuts, but this had a lot of kind of long drawn shots. Like there was one point where he left a frame and went all the way around this kind of a circly thing and came back into the shot. Whereas it was interestingly filmed.
Yeah.
But the storyline was it was too weak. It was just too, I don't know. There's just too many bad things going against it even before I turned it on, I think.
Yeah, agreed. You're absolutely right. And do you know what? And you're looking at it from a different point of view, Phil, as to how it was shot as well. So that's really, really interesting with your scoring, because I think without the stunning scenery, and you know, the quaint village and the beautiful surroundings, like without all of that, Jesus Christ, this would have been the longest ever movie to watch. It was worse than the other language one that we seen that time. Oh, it was horrific.
What was it? 2:20 as well. I think it was 2 hours 20 minutes.
2 hours 20. Yeah. I asked you halfway through the movie. I think I was like, how long was left in this? Because I was losing my will and my soul was destroyed. And aside from fruit activities, right? Okay, which were unnecessary. You're absolutely right, Phil. Unnecessary. Everything was so forced. I felt the acting was forced. I felt it was stilted. I was just watching, and I just found myself rolling my eyes so much. I was like, for fuck's sake. And I just felt it was really stilted. I felt like the timing was off on it, and like I'm there and I'm thinking to myself, there's no way that mother don't know what's going on. Do you know, that's all I could think during the movie. Now obviously the dad did, but as you said, Phil, my favorite part was the very, very end of the movie with the father and the son. That's what I liked in the whole movie. That and the fact that it was set in the most beautiful surroundings, and that leech eating all of their food and lying on. Imagine, I'm your dad's assistant. 1 second there now, pure Polly Walnuts. 1 second there, I'm just working on my tan. I'll assist you there in a minute. Are you finished with that food? What a leech. But that was 10 on my list as well. Absolutely a big.
I wonder, is that piece scene like a legit? Was it a legit story from the director when he was young? Because sometimes people write what they know. That's all I'd say on that one.
Or like, was it just fired in there because for lack of a better term, because it just felt like, oh, the movie needed something edgy. And I'm like, that's not edgy. That's a peach. Do you know what I mean? I was just like, no, it's absolutely wrong. Or if it was, you know, symbolic.
I thought peaches came from a can.
They were put there by a man, funnily enough. So yeah, that was Call Me By Your Name, My Name, That Name. Just don't call me Peach. That's what that was. So that came in at number 10 for me and Phil, and 7 for Jerry. Interesting. The next one, not sure about yourselves, but I'll come to you first on this, love.
I've seen this as a kid, and I was like, this was I'm going to put this as number 1.
Really? Boys Don't
yeah,
Cry, number 1.
I saw recently there's a few stories about it because it's been coming. I think it might have appeared on Netflix, and people were bashing it and saying, why is again it just was, as you said at the start, this was made over 24 years ago.
1999.
It wasn't the case of like people seem to do this thing where they say a gay person has to be in, you know what I mean, where they say kind of like you have to put a deaf person into a deaf role. That they're getting attacked online over it.
Yeah.
But again, this was 25 years ago, so it's a whole different scenario. Like, but I'm sure if it was made today, it would have been a lot more, diverse and equality and stuff like that. But this one was just hard. This was harrowing to watch.
This is so difficult to watch. It really
the music was incredible.
Yeah, score was fab.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's just the one particular scene in this that was really, really difficult to watch, with the bathroom.
Yeah.
That was one of the roughest scenes I've watched in a long time.
Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super.
It was hard. I'd say they had to put it in to show the harrowing reality of it, because this is a true story. This really happened. The both actresses were really good. I really like I don't know how to say her second name, but Chloe, I can't pronounce her.
Chloe Sivan, is it? Chloe Sivan?
Yeah, she's superb.
They were amazing, weren't they? They were amazing.
And the brothers as well, like Peter Sarsgaard.
Yeah.
They're all like, it was tough, but do you know what? It's a movie that probably had to be made to show the reality of what actually happened.
But yeah, absolutely. But you know what? It didn't feel like that scene, and there was more than one harrowing scene in this movie. It didn't feel like that they were just planted in there, or again, it's like, like this is what happened. It wasn't. It flowed so well in the film. It was like, no, this actually, this is how the situation progressed, and this happened in real life. It wasn't just a plant, or it wasn't to add shock value. Do you know that kind of way? It wasn't to like, if we throw in this really, really brutal few scenes, it's going to get attention to our movie. It's like, no, this is exactly how it went down. And I think it was handled really, really well.
Also, as well, like this is 1999, and there wouldn't have been a lot of films wouldn't have toppled that mental health issue. Not like today. So that's another thing. It's kind of ahead of its time in a way like that. But like, the music, like the Blue Eyes in Texas, all that is just all super. Like was it the solo or the sax version of it near the end?
Yeah,
that was just this was just, everything about it was just superb in filmmaking and just storytelling, and it was just so sad to watch. But like you're so engrossed in it,
you have to watch. 1,000,000%. Darling.
Yes. Number 4 for me. Thoroughly enjoyed this movie. Again, like Phil said, it was harrowing. Some of the stuff in it was hard to watch, not because it was bad, but because it was so heartbreaking that something like this actually happened, and probably has happened many times over. And it's just one story that somebody ended up telling. I'm not sure who wrote the book, or it was based on it's based on a true story, but I'm not sure was there a book about it as well. And the script was written off the book, so I'm not sure from whose perspective everything was based on. Like, so whether it's all based on actual events, it's based on the real person.
I think one of the saddest parts for me is when, because I didn't see it in so long, is the second girl got shot.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Stop.
With the kid,
Spoiler, lads.
Yeah. And it was really, really tough, because the amount of times I wanted to shake Hilary Swank.
Yeah.
And just say, why are you still here? Why didn't you go? And I was totally on the side of poor Chloe there at the end. I was like, why didn't you go? Oh my God, you could have saved everybody. It's pure Jack in the Boat situation, or Jack in the Door and Rose again, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, whether it happened like this or not, is, we don't know that for sure. But overall, great film. wonderfully acted.
I think
Yeah.
it's an important film for a lot of people to watch.
Yeah, big time. Like, because if you're struggling with your sexuality and you're not sure, or if you want to be something else,
Yeah.
you know, you got to be able to, you know, get out there and do it. Like, but
Yeah.
obviously, this is set in, I'm not sure what year it's set in the 80s as well, is what I think it is.
Yeah, it would be.
Sure.
So, like, you know, different mindsets. People are, you know, obviously people still probably think that way, but
It's one of the only films I think, and in a long time for me, that I really felt when he got shot.
Yeah.
I really
because
felt
it was unexpected, completely unexpected at the end when you were coming to the end of it. You're like, oh, did not expect.
You'd think
that
they're
at
getting
all.
away, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And then just, oh my God, just.
But you know what, it did probably make the movie that better by it happening, because if they had got away, it would have been too Hollywood.
Yeah, too happy
It would have
ending.
been with a happy ending. It would have been
Because
way
that's
too.
not what's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and to this day, I would imagine it's still not
Yeah.
what's happening. You know, there are very few. Well, at that time, there were very few happy endings, and I'm sure in certain parts of the world, it remains the same. You know,
I also think the friend is to blame as well. The friend hung at the store out to dry.
The mother told them where they were.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Like you
You want to shake people, all right?
Some people some situations were just shocking, you know, that kind of a way. And I was like, how much it was going to affect her daughter. And she still gave them up. I was just like, oh, they're in canvases. I was like, what? This was number 4 for me as well. Yeah, number 4 too. Moving on to that, then, to something completely different. Okay. At number 6 on their list was Fire Island. So had no idea what to expect, because you know what I started thinking of? Do you remember that disaster documentary of that party that was going to be on Fire Island, right? So I was like, this is definitely a play on this. And you know, they were all like staying in fucking flooded tents and stuff. I was convinced. I was like, this is what it's going to be. Yeah, no, it wasn't at all. So Fire Island is this holiday retreat, I suppose we call it, for the LGBTQ plus community. And they go every year. And they have a friend, a woman who's on the island, and she has a home there, and they go every year, and they have this big blowout of a holiday with lots of party, drink, drugs, all sorts of shenanigans going on. And they live for it every year. They haven't got a penny between them, but luckily she has this house on the island where they can go and stay and then have all sorts of fun on Fire Island for a week. So I'm happy to kick this one off. Okay. I enjoyed Fire Island. It's your rom-com. It's, you know, it was your perfect rom-com. Do you know what I mean? At the end, like, you know, chasing after him on the boat, and you know, there's always an obstacle or two thrown in the way as well, you know, but then everybody gets behind, you know, the heroes at the end to make sure that they get together. And you know, of course, there's always distractions and stuff. So, you know, and then there's always, you know, oh, I'm going to lose my house. And, oh, sorry, there's all, you know, it had all the ingredients of a rom-com, you know. So on my list, this came in at number 5, just because I enjoyed it. It wasn't hard to watch. And a shout out to one of the best scenes in the movie has to be when they're playing Heads Up. Is it? It's a Heads Up. That's what's called a Heads Up, isn't it? And God bless him, poor Will, isn't it? It is Will, isn't it? Who's doing the guessing, and they're all amazing. They're doing actresses, and he could not get Marissa Tomei, and I swear I laughed out loud when I saw this. And they're doing every of her famous quotes from every movie she's been in, right down to My Cousin Vinny. The defense is wrong, and then he's there, and he's like, Rosie Perez, and he just can't get it. They're all losing their shit because he can't get Marissa Tomei, and this just made me laugh so much because their impressions were brilliant. So if you make me laugh at a movie, you'll never get to number 10. Make me laugh in a good way, you'll never be at number 10. But for me, this was at number 5. Gerard, what did you think?
I number 6 for me. And if it didn't have the rom-com ending, it probably would have been higher. It was I really enjoyed a lot of the movie, like yourself, the build up to obviously to the ending of it. Again, some of the scenes were hilarious. There were some fantastic scenes in the film, and it's, again, whether it's a real place or not, I'm pretty sure there is places like this in the world that you know, it's not based on a true story, but based on people's own experiences and just written into a script, I think, more than anything else.
It's funny you should mention that, because in another movie further up the list that was made 25, 30 years prior, they mentioned Fire Island.
Yeah.
So randomly enough, I caught that and I was like,
Yeah.
oh.
In Boys in the Band, they mention that in the film, all right.
Phil, how about you?
I give it a 6 on mine as well. Pretty much the same thing. Like it's a film that's weird because it would not have been made 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I think, was it Bros came out recently as well? It was pretty similar.
Oh really? No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, that came out, I think it was last year. It's pretty similar kind of. There just wouldn't have been a market for it 10 years ago, but now we've become so kind of far on now that we're to the point where it is okay to make, you know, like to make these kind of films and get people to watch. It's good again for people to watch, because I knew nothing about this. I didn't watch the trailer or nothing beforehand. And I suppose, as you said there, Fire Island is kind of the memories you make rather than a place.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and I admit I do like the odd rom-com, so it was pretty good. Yeah, I mean, like it's run of the mill because it has like the cliche stuff, but as you said, like there's a few funny scenes in there with the Marissa Tomei stuff. Yeah, I liked it. I liked it more than I thought I would. I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
I really didn't know what to expect with it. But that guy Will annoyed me though for the majority of it.
Really?
Yeah, it was just so kind of, you know, when somebody's trying to force something and you could almost feel it.
Yeah.
Like he's forcing himself to not accept the reality.
Yeah. And
yeah, it was. Yeah.
He was in How to Get Away with Murder as well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I know what you mean, but I think that's a testament to him as well. Do you know what I mean? That he just did not want to be there at all and just had to go like with his rich friends. There's nothing worse. But that's interesting now, Fire Island, because I think the same. I think we were all kind of like, I don't know, will we like it? But it was actually enjoyable. Very
it's decent. It's decent. You know, like it has good ratings on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes.
And I think as well, because there's quite a lot of top watches on this list, that this was a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, I think it was the most charmingly light film.
Yes, yeah, exactly. But still carried a message, do you know?
Yeah, exactly.
No, absolutely. And apologies, that was actually number 7 on Esquire's list. Number 6 on Esquire's list was The Birdcage. Now, The Birdcage is a hugely, hugely popular movie. When it first came out, it was super, super popular. Blew box offices all over the world. I'm going to come to you first with this, love.
Birdcage is a classic. It's one of my favorite films of all time, regardless whether it's LGBTQ or not. I don't think it is. I think it's just a great film. Doesn't have to represent any community. I think it's just brilliant.
It's all about love at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's not a rom-com, but it is a romantic comedy, but it's not a rom-com cliche movie. It's just hilarious. I think Robin Williams is fantastic in it. Again, would he have been allowed to these days to play a gay character without him being gay? I'm not sure, but he's fantastic in it. I don't think you could bash Robin Williams really, regardless of where you stand.
But it was a really weird time as well, because he made like 6 kids films, like Flubber, Mrs. Doubtfire, Jumanji, and then this came out in the middle of all those. Yeah,
but I think I think the script for this was written a couple of years prior to any of them films, and he already signed on for it. But I think he signed a 3 or 4 movie deal then to do those kid films back to back. I think they were all part of one contract. So I think he had already signed on to do The Birdcage as well. So he had a break, and I think they made that film in between shooting Flubber, I think. But there's a lot of quotable moments in this film as well. Like, you know, anytime I fucking try and butter toast with, you know, butter that's from the fridge, you know, them little blocks of butter, and you can't, and the knife goes through the toast, and every time I still go back to saying it, I pierced the toast. Yeah, it's just a classic. Like, I always do it. I love doing it. Probably before you even seen the film, we watched it back there a couple of years ago as well. Like, I was before the film even started. I was like, I pierced the toast. I think, But yeah, it's a great film. I don't know if anybody can't not like it. For me, it's number one.
Oh, is that your number one?
Yeah.
Excellent. Funnily enough, that's my number one as well. Right, randomly enough. I didn't know your list, you didn't know my list, but this is my number one as well, for all of the reasons you mentioned too. But it just makes me laugh because it's just one of those situations where, and again, you know, it doesn't matter what you know, what your preference is, or you know, what you identify as. This is just an enjoyable movie. It absolutely is. And you're just waiting for something to go wrong the entire time, you know. And it's just funny. It's just it's entertaining. And that's what we say. If it's entertaining, enjoy it. But it's just pure entertaining and lighthearted, and it's just funny and really, really good show. And I think you alluded to it, Phil. It's, you know, it's coming from such a place of love that, you know, they will do anything just for him to be happy so he can sort out his wedding. Do you know, that kind of way, and go ahead with the marriage? And I just think that's so lovely, that it's just the lengths that they wanted to go to for him, you know. And I think there's something very, very special in that, you know. As you said, would it stand the test of time now? I don't know, but probably because I've seen it before, I think we have a fondness for it, you know. But yeah, it was number one on my list as well.
I'll put it as 2.
Number 2, Phil, was it? Excellent. What did you think?
It's really good. Like, what's his name? Nathan. Oh,
Nathan Lane, yeah.
Yeah, he's just superb. He was in something recently. Bio's Afraid. He's as well. He's such a good actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Ali McBeal shows up as well.
Yeah, of course, who else?
But yeah, it's just great. What really annoyed me about it, I thought that your man was Bradley Cooper all the time. I was like, that's not Bradley Cooper.
Oh my god, yeah, I see where you get that. Totally.
Yeah, I was like, I had to actually look it up. I was like, that's not him.
That's so funny. But you were saying the cast is stellar, very strong cast.
Yeah, Gene Hackman was brilliant on it.
He's in it as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, madness.
If you think of Robin Williams, though, it does get lost. You know, like when you talk to people today about it, it does get lost.
His films, sure, yeah, but he's made so many spectacular movies.
It's just he was the Oscar nominee. He should have been. He was that good. I don't know if he was
for this movie.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know. I don't know if he was, but I'm just saying he was so good in it. He could have been.
Yeah.
He was just
a
little light.
Direction was the Oscar nomination.
Okay. But yeah, no, it's really, really good, and it's a really fun movie.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's very fun, but still carries a message, you know, which is like so important.
And again, and the mother as well was played by I call her Dr. Nora from Frasier, but I don't know her real name.
Diane West.
Yeah.
From Lost Boys.
No, not Diane West. The other mother.
Oh, from Sybil.
Yeah. Yeah, she's very good.
Yeah. What's her name? Christina Baranski.
Yeah.
There you go. That's it. That's her name. Yeah. She's brilliant though. It doesn't matter what she's in.
She was brilliant in what do you call it? The Grinch.
Oh, phenomenal. She's just so good in whatever she's in. Like, she's brilliant, isn't she? Love to have my house like hers.
The scene where he's trying to walk like John Wayne just had me in bits. Like,
it's just, this is it. It's just, and it's funny because it's like, that's what their interpretation of what it's supposed to be. You know, it's just
exactly
amazing. Like, you know, but yeah, a good all around. I'm so glad that performed well for us.
Yeah.
Sticking with you, Phil, BPM, beats per minute. That came in at number 5 on the list. Talk to me about this. Was this one of the better language movies we've seen?
It was quite good, but it was very harrowing to watch.
Yeah.
Again, it's a protest movie about AIDS. It's afraid is France.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Set in the 90s, fighting the government and kind of moving efforts towards the AIDS epidemic. I found this a lot like a disco. I don't know how to explain that, but there's a lot of like beats per minute, I suppose, with the lighting and constant lighting and dark. And where did I put it? I put this quite low. I did 9. I put this
at 9. You say, is it?
Yeah, I just found it very slow moving, and the end of it was really, really dark, where he lost all the weight. Before he died, and it was just really hard. It was tough. It was really hard to watch. and it was just like they could have done without a few of the boardroom scenes as well. Again, this movie was 2 hours 20, I think.
Yeah.
If you took a half an hour out of it, it could be. I think it would have been up to 5 or 4 for me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very
I just
long.
thought it was just too long,
Way too long.
and they could have got the same point across
Yeah.
Yeah, in less.
in less time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
again,
it's an
dragged
important.
out a little bit.
It's important to watch it from a historical point of view. Again,
Hugely. Yeah. As you said, I think the message was delivered loud and clear. But as you say, I think that with a little bit less time spent on like the things of the boardroom scenes, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like that scene with the blood being shown in the offices. That was so well done.
Yeah, exactly. Some parts were brilliant, but then other parts were kind of dragged out. You felt like it was been dragged out a little bit just to make it a little bit longer, to make it have a bit more of an influence or something, where all the ingredients were there already. There was no need to.
All these foreign movies like Blue's the Warmest Colour is way too long as well.
Oh my God,
similar thing, you know.
But it is a European thing to do, isn't it? A lot of these films are
that scene where they all chant through the offices. That was one of the most real moments I've seen in something in a while.
Yeah. Again, like it didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
And not that I don't like foreign language films. I've watched plenty of foreign language films growing up that I absolutely adore. This is just not one of them. It is, like I said, it is too long.
Yeah,
it's number 10 on my list. I couldn't get into, not because of foreign language, but just trying to keep up with it. With subtitles was just so hard to do.
The subtitles were also way too rapid or something.
Yeah, it was just you couldn't keep up with them. That's what I'm saying. Like it was just like, what's going on? Like, and like if you're not continuing to read the subtitles or trying to keep up with the subtitles, you're going to get lost pretty quickly. Even though a lot of stuff happens, you know, that it doesn't need a lot of subtitles on it as well. But it is, again, it's not one of the films on the list. It's not exactly based on a true story, but it is based on actual events. And the director and the screenwriter's own personal experiences, they were inspired to write the film itself. So it was just too long.
It's harrowing without the unnecessary length. Like
it was kind of like that. There was a little bit of extra put on it, I suppose you can say. As you said, there's definitely scenes that could have been shorter and the same message could have come across just as clear and could have been just as effective. And I think as well, obviously it's difficult to watch, you know, a foreign language movie when it's not your first language, but you had parts of the film, the pacing of it was quite slow. But then as you put it so well, Phil, you had this kind of, I suppose, almost disco effect going on as well. And then you had subtitles flying too. So I kind of felt like you were trying to concentrate on 3 or 4 things at one time, as well as it being in another language. So you were kind of like, it was hard work, and the fact that it was over 2 hours long as well. It was a bit, you know, to try and...
Yeah. And that was...
I was worried that the message would get lost because I was trying to concentrate on so much.
There are too much boardroom shots. There should be more... them out with fighting with the police.
Yes.
That's what it should have been about, really. Like it should have been about that, and you know, the actual disease itself, and you know, people having to deal with it. But like
fighting against the lads who were trying to get them to inject them with a
like the film took so long to make as well, because the director went out of his way to cast gay actors in all the gay characters roles. He didn't want any straight people playing any gay characters in it, so it took him 9 months to cast the film alone.
Wow.
9 months to cast
that
film, which is crazy. And there was probably another half an hour or 40 minutes cut off in the editing, like that they didn't.
Usually there's an hour, I'd say, even.
So you can imagine like how many people were cut out of it, didn't get their scenes, or you know, many scenes that, you know, were unnecessarily cut out, so they could have been kept in, and other stuff that was kept in that should have been left out, kind of things. Unfortunately, number 10, what was it?
For me, this is number 7.
Okay.
Yeah, number 7 for me. It wasn't anywhere near the other ones that are on the lower end of my list. But yeah, BPM, hitting all of the BPMs. There was a lot of beats permitted in that movie, definitely. Speaking of lower end of the list, I suppose speaking of lower ends, really, dear, isn't it? Speaking of lower ends, we are halfway through our list, which means we are going to jump in with a quick word from our sponsor, which is the one and only Manscaped. We are super, super happy and proud to be partnered with Manscaped for our podcast series, as they are with us. If you haven't got your hands yet on Manscaped, if you have not heard about Manscaped or what it can do for you and your nether regions, have you been asleep under a rock? Because this is the latest trend in body care, taking care of your hair. So Manscaped have an amazing package called the 4.0 package, okay? And this comes with literally everything that you can imagine to keep everything trim, tidy, neat, hygienic. And, you know, if you want to cut a couple of patterns in as well, that's absolutely fine too. Not only will you be as smooth as a newborn baby's bum, but you will smell absolutely divine, down to the one and only ball deodorant, which is absolutely massive. Smells amazing. So not only, of course, for down there, a bit behind the ears and a bit on the old wrists, and I'm telling you, your G for go. Nose trimmers, unbelievable as well. If you've got those dodgy ones, you know, and you're laughing and it looks like there's a forest up there, there you go. When the head goes back, you feel lovely and confident when you're chatting to all the women. Now, isn't it over 12 million balls worldwide?
16 million balls.
16!
8 million men.
Unbelievable, right? Give or take how many you have, right? On average, 16 million balls worldwide have been introduced to the phenomenon that is Manscaped. The team have it here. I'm waiting for my Womanscaped, absolutely waiting for it. I think it's the next step. But the team here have had it, and you've had massive success with it and are super, super happy with it too. And everything comes in a really, really nifty little wash bag. So you know that dose at the airport where you have to like, oh, what am I going to bring? What am I going to bring? Whack it all into the wash bag, into your suitcase, and off you go. How do you get your hands on it? Easy. When you go to Manscaped website, up you go to the cart. Pop the 4.0 package in and anything else that takes your desire. Why? Because we have got a discount code for you. When you get to the checkout, that little box that says to apply the promo code, you tap in IWE20 and you will get 20% off your total. 20% off your shopping bag. That's nuts. That's a fifth of the price. Knock it off. But we're not done there. Because what's the one thing that stops us all? We see the price, the shipping, and we're like, that I am not paying that. I'll pay all of this, but I am not paying that money on shipping. Not with the Top of the Pods podcast. Why? Because not only does IWE20 get you 20% off, it also gets you free shipping on your order as well. I have used our code, happy with the free shipping because I am as frugal as they come. But 20% off IWE20 and you'll also get free shipping. And do not come back and tell us that it isn't the smoothest, most comfortable removal of unnecessary hair in your life.
Boys don't cry with Manscaped.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. So there you have it, straight from Jerry's mouth. But get on it, guys. Your balls will thank you. And we are delighted to say a massive thank you to Manscaped for joining us on this podcast. So halfway through our list here.
Mm-hmm.
And now we are moving on a little bit further up to Carl. So next movie is Carl. Carl sounds like she lives down the road. Carl. So our next movie is Carol. Okay. Starring Kate Blanchett. I have opinions over this movie. Would somebody else like to go first?
It's a story of a lonely woman. That was my pitch about it. I'll go first. I put it at 5.
Really?
Yeah. I do like the director Todd Haynes. He's quite good.
Mm-hmm.
But from again, this is from a filmmaking purpose. This is a beautiful film to watch. But I can understand why people don't like it because it is very slow.
And fast at the same time.
Yeah, like again, Kate Blanchett is kind of an older woman who's kind of looking, I suppose, for friendship, or maybe she's looking for something else. But yeah, like Kate Rooney Mara, I always loved. So she also has this really cool presence on screen in this. The only thing about this, and I see what you think, but I didn't really fully get the end of it. I don't know what you think.
Yeah.
because I thought Kate Blanchett was superb in it. I really liked the scene where she kind of turned when the young man came, just spying on her.
Yeah.
Kind of security guard. What would you call it? Private detective.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I thought this was very, very slow, but really kind of good and engagingly good for a slow movie.
Yeah.
Where'd you have it on your list, Phil?
5.
Right.
Yeah.
Number 5.
Yeah. Number 8 for me. I'll let Liz talk about it in depth because she has a lot of opinions on it that are probably similar to mine. But
Oh, really?
it's another film with Kate Blanchett playing an older woman seducing a younger woman. You know, the last list. I think it was the last list.
Yeah. The conductor.
The conductor, or whatever she was.
The husband was really good. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
What's his name?
He's in loads of things.
Yeah, he's a fucking character actor. Fucking Kyle Chandler. He's been in loads of things.
Yeah. Is it Kyle Chandler?
Kyle Chandler. Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle Chandler. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's not a terrible movie.
It's just too slow paced.
Yeah, it's just like obviously it's 1950s in New York City. So it's set in a time when obviously the gay community wasn't accepted at all. Like there was no at all. Like there wouldn't have been any gay characters, any gay people, standing out anywhere. Even in the movie industry, if they were gay, they weren't allowed to be gay, like kind of thing. Where, yeah, I didn't get it. I didn't see the point of the film at all in the first place. She's having an affair, even though they're supposed to be getting divorced. I'm not sure. She had an affair with her best friend, played by Sarah Paulson in it as well. Like, so that was a short fling, and then they broke up, and she was still, I don't know, she was her assistant or godmother to her child or something. I'm not sure. They were friends since she was 10 years old, she said in it. I'm not really sure what that means. Was she, how much older is she? Or was there an age gap? Was she, did she groom her when she was 10 years old? When they were friends since she was 10, I'm not really sure. But it didn't do anything for me really. It just happened all too quick.
Oscar nominated, wasn't it?
Yeah, six Oscars it was nominated for, yeah. But it just didn't do anything for me. Like I didn't see the point of it.
Now look, where was that 8 in your list? Was it
8?
So Carol was number 9 on my list, right? And here's why. The only reason it wasn't number 10 is because then I went and saw Call Me by Your Name, my name, their name, all the names, right? So the reason it's number 9 on my list now, right? Because it was I'm sorry, I can't accept that it's a sign of the times, right? But there is absolutely no freaking way in this earthly world that this is fucking believable, right? Sorry now, okay? Now, nominated for how many Oscars?
6.
Right? 6. The only one it should have been nominated for, it won, didn't it?
Didn't win any.
Costume. Did it not win the one for costume?
Nope.
Or maybe it was nominated for costume. Should have won that because the costumes were absolutely beautiful. Absolutely stunning. The styling, everything was just
camera work, amazing. Yeah,
absolutely. That is why it's at number 9 and not number 10, because all of that was absolutely beautiful. Okay, stunning, visually stunning, right? But I'm sorry now, right? This situation, there is no freaking way that this would ever happen in the real world. If it does, then I need to know where this is happening, right?
Get to the point.
Right? Just do not have a pop off of you too now, right? I'm just saying, okay? Into a toy shop, right? 2 days before Christmas, okay? 2 days before Christmas Eve, right? You goes in, you spot someone at the counter, you order, they don't have the doll, so you get the toy thing. It's delivered to the house 2 days later. Joanna's in her house Christmas Day to thank her for the toy. She sat playing a piano and they're going for lunch, and then she goes over, I think it's Boxing Day or St. Stephen's Day, and she sat playing the piano and they're having a few drinks to say thanks for bringing or having the thing delivered and returning the gloves. The husband's in the house giving out. Then you want to sat at the piano and she's like, oh, I feel so bad. I wish there was something I could do. You know her 4 days, right? Then after she gets into a car with her, do you want to come away west with me, right? Jumps into a car with her. You wanted the gun in her suitcase. By New Year's Eve, they're sleeping together, right? And then she's absolutely distraught that you want us drove off and left her. And then after a month, pops back out of the blue because she's agreed situationship for her daughter with the husband. and move in with me. I've got an apartment on Fifth Avenue, 15.
Also, as well, how old is she supposed to be?
Iota, Phil. I literally was like, I was in such shock over this. I was like, this is bollocks. At the end of the movie, I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. This does not happen. I'm sorry, no, it doesn't. Especially in a city like New York, right? Because people in New York date. People in New York, very seldom in relationships, they date, right? So I've been told a million times. But I was just like, this has happened in the space of 10 days. And then we're there and the trial or the fucking agreement is happening in March or April. Yuan has disappeared. No contact whatsoever. Yuan's gone off to work at the Times as a clerk. And Yuan rings her up. Oh, do you want to come for dinner later on? No, I'm going to a party. And then, oh, I've got an apartment. Do you want to come move in? She says, yeah. I don't know. I really was like, slow your fucking roll. I was just
If
like,
you're even wary of things like that today, back in the 50s, you would have been 10 times worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to open the door in case it's your man for the TV license. Don't go off.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
You want to pack the bag. Oh, and she finds a gun in the suitcase, but she stays anyway. Show her hand. I'm like, stop, no, dog. So yeah, this is 9 on the list for me because I thought it was the most least fucking believable, you know, apart from
what happened at the very end. I still don't get what, because that guy is on the table. That guy's sitting on the table. That detective guy. Like, I don't understand. I did not get that, like, at all.
Making friends with Rooney Mara and then just sits down at the table. I just thought it was really, really weird. Like,
That was weird.
Do you want to hear something fun about this film?
do.
No. I don't know if you're ever going to the Cannes Film Festival, Phil, whenever you release all your movies. If you do go there, make sure you get a 10-minute standing ovation, because this is what this film got in 2015.
Were the seats on fire?
10-minute standing ovation is what they got. 10 minutes.
Sorry.
What a bunch of pompous fucking wankers.
Bollocks. You see
But
some
you know, like, that director's known for, like, these things, like Todd Higgins.
And he
Like,
probably had a fucking gun in his suitcase as well and made people stand up and give him a fucking 10-minute standing ovation.
That's actually crazy.
Yep. It was actually shot in, Phil, you'd like this, it was actually shot in 16mm as well.
Nice.
Super
Yeah, you
six-
could definitely
super
tell
16.
there. It was beautiful.
Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And the costumes were just amazing. The styling, the whole lot, stunning. But no.
Looking up this director now because I want to see what. Oh yeah, he did. I'm Not There, which was only okay. I'm just looking up there now, like what he did.
Do you think his reputation saved this movie, and that's why everyone thinks it's so great?
Yeah, I think yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
I
don't
think
know,
you're
out
right.
of respect for him, maybe.
Mildred Plates, like people love that TV show. Or Mildred Pierce.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I just don't know. It just didn't do it for me, lads.
Anyway, let's not give it 10 minutes.
That was number 4. Let's not. Moving swiftly on from something that was completely and utterly, I don't know, maybe just, I don't know, for me, a little bit out of touch of what actually happens in real life, to something that was absolutely happening in real life. This was set in 1993, wasn't it?
91.
Was it 91? That was early 90s, was it?
Yeah, 91, I think.
91 was Philadelphia. So I'd never seen Philadelphia before. It was my first time seeing it. Even though, how long was this movie?
2 hours. 2 hours.
Just shy of 2, wasn't it? Yeah. Even though it was like, we'll say a 2-hour movie, this moved quite quickly, you know, which I appreciated as well, because I didn't find anything was too kind of drawn out, but this ruined me emotionally. Absolutely.
Is this a true story or is it based on a true story?
It's based on 2 different stories, isn't it?
It's not
a number of stories.
It's not exactly fucking based on actual person, like, but the story itself happened of a lawyer was diagnosed with AIDS and was fired promptly and the court case happened, and all this stuff happened, but they obviously rewrote it for the film, but something similar.
There was a number of parallels. The family watched the movie and they were like, there's 54 parallels of what happened in real life to our relative. But
this is another one. This is another one where if some of the youth people today watch it, they'll be like, they'd read it and talk like that, did they? Do you know that kind of?
Yeah, that.
And this is the thing.
Yeah.
I think that's why movies like Philadelphia are so important as well. Now, how old age today? Not sure, but I think just movies like Philadelphia, like Boys Don't Cry, they are just so important, because, as I said, along with all the positivity that comes with celebrating Pride Month, there is so much more to it, and Philadelphia highlights this in such a great way. This broke me. I cried at the end of this film. I was so upset at the end of this movie.
This says a lot of things like you were saying earlier on, Ger, about people wouldn't watch them, and
yeah,
there's scenes there where Denzel Washington wouldn't even shake his hand or anything.
yeah.
That's the way it was 20, 30 years
Yeah.
ago. People just didn't abide by it. They just didn't understand. They just, they don't understand. The same people are, 30 years older now. They probably still don't understand. They're not in that generation. Like, and, I'm not going to say it's okay, but that's just their generation. They're not going to be able to be, you can't change some people's perspective. You can't make them change their ways. Like, so, you're better off just getting on with your life and ignoring them people if they have no respect for you.
Yeah, this is it. And it's just I just think movies like that should be used as examples in curriculums, when they are touching on such subjects, that kind of a way, to show it wasn't always as progressive as it is now, that it took an awful long time to get to where we are now, and there's still so much to do. So yeah, this was number 2 on my list. Phil?
I have it down as 3.
3, yeah.
Again, the importance of it, because just the language used there, I don't like some of the words that Denzel used, but they're important to hear because people need to know it's not okay to say these things nowadays. But like Denzel Washington, again, he was probably one of the men, I suppose, in the 90s for acting roles.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Did he win an Oscar to Tom Hanks? Did they both?
Tom Hanks.
Denzel should have won the Oscar for this one.
Yeah,
I think he was robbed that year.
He was amazing in this movie. Amazing.
Yeah,
I think he was better than Tom Hanks in this movie, to be honest.
he really was.
Through a lot of physical changes, lost 30 pounds to get into the role, and a lot of shit happened. Like, but as an acting role, like just solely on just the acting, Denzel was phenomenal in it.
What a great casting choice.
Yeah, he really was great. It's just, again, this is one of the few ones that were really emotionally engaging. Very, very, very good. But I've always Denzel watching. Even that part where Tom Hanks got up and he fell onto the floor. It was just, you could feel it.
Yeah, but what I liked about the courtroom side of it as well was Mary Steinberg. Like, she plays such a soft-spoken character in all her
movies.
And she didn't like try to act like a bitch or a cunt or anything in this film. Like, it was as the opposing, solicitor, lawyer type character. Like, she wasn't trying to be the bad guy in it. Like, fact, you could see where she was coming from.
She was just doing her job at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They didn't make her into the bad guy. Doing a lot of films where if they're defending the bad guys, they have to be a bad guy.
Yeah. That's a great call. Yeah, she's doing her job. That's a really good call.
She was very good in this as well. Yeah.
Do you know who was actually really, really good in this movie as well? Silent Hero was Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
I thought he was great in this movie. I thought he played the role of his partner super well. And I was, as you said, I was absolutely emotionally engaged and invested in their relationship and how it was going, and, how he deteriorated so quickly, and, how he was just with him all the time, and how open and accepting the family was of him. And just, it was actually a really, really lovely movie. Because very few of these movies showed such acceptance from family side, and this one
around that time, especially in the early 90s.
Yeah, exactly. Because even at that point, now you were around the time of Freddie Mercury as well, that was so publicized as well when he passed away. So I think it was great to have a spotlight on it.
It also had the perfect song as well as the intro with Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, that was a big thing, big decision they made whenever they were releasing the film. They have somebody like that to help promote the film. But like, it was shot in sequence as well, so you can tell throughout that Tom Hanks starts out, he loses up to 30 pounds throughout the movie, like actually throughout the movie, like, so he was losing weight. He didn't he wasn't 30 pounds going in underweight going into the movie, and then he put on the pounds later on. They actually shot it in sequence where he was just losing weight throughout the film. Which is
it was really, really good.
Yeah, great show. Really, really good show. So, love, where did that fall on your list?
Number 2 for me.
Number 2 is that for you. Excellent. Scored very highly as well in our list. That's amazing. Then coming in at number 2 in this list, I have no idea why this is at number 2 in the list, but it is. Maybe you can kind of shed a bit of light in it. But we have The Boys in the Band, and there's 2 of these. This 1970, and then there's a remake in 2020 with Jim Parsons in it. But this is it was 1970 is the one that we watched. This movie, I don't know.
It was like a play.
That's
right?
literally what we said.
I kind of feel
one stage.
Oh God, the glass came into the fucking screen. Into the shot, and I nearly jumped. Oh my God, your glass. I left this movie feeling very confused. I was just kind of like, I know what happened, but like, I had it. What did I have it? I had it number 8 on my list, right? Like, it was all going really, really well, and I loved the banter at the start of the movie. I loved the banter and the toing and the froing and the teasing and all that. I thought that was fab. And then obviously the college friend, came out of nowhere, etc. And like everyone was having a great time until the college friend went, and obviously he wanted to conceal his sexuality to the old college friend, Alan, wasn't it his name?
Alan, yeah.
Yeah. And Alan is absolutely in the closet. God bless him. He really, really is. You could tell, and I don't know, maybe he reached out to Michael out of curiosity as to how he's supposed to deal with what he's going through, maybe. And yeah, it seemed like everyone was having a party, and everyone was enjoying it, and people were trying to behave as Michael wanted them to conceal themselves. But then it just took a really sinister turn. Do you know, I just kind of felt it. I was blindsided by it.
Drink again is what I said.
You what?
I said, I was talking to myself, I was like, alcohol again, starting fights as usual.
Just took a sinister turn really, really quickly. All of a sudden, it was like Michael was getting really, really smarmy and really, really snappy. And it was just like, I felt like I missed 5 minutes of it or something.
He was turning into a bit of a...
what did he say?
Stunt?
A seant, wasn't it? That was French with the C had a cedille on it. So into a cunt.
And what about that word?
Oh, it's my favorite word.
And there's trivia about the film.
Oh my God, yeah, it was the first motion picture to feature the word cunt, wasn't it?
What?
Yeah. So there we go. So I mean, I thought it would have scored higher on my list. I read that before I watched the movie, so I thought it would have scored higher on my list. It's my favorite swear word. But that was as good as it got for me. Like, I don't know. I just kind of felt there was a really, really sinister turn all of a sudden, and I just didn't see it. Blindsided me. I didn't see it coming. And then this random game of ringing a person and tell them that you love them.
Yeah, what the fuck is
and
that?
It was just, and then, so it's like, it's actually like, look, normally the person who's like the most pissed off and the most dramatic is the one who's going through the most shit, right? Which we found out in the end absolutely was, right? But I don't know. I just, yeah. Love.
Yeah. Why you thought it felt like a play is because it was a play.
Originally,
off Broadway, and they brought back all the same actors. Pretty much everybody came back from the play, so it just they didn't really change up much other than a few shots outside in New York, and the rest just happens inside a stage. Pretty much that's all it is. Like their production cost was probably fuck all, other than whatever license they need to shoot outside New York for fucking 5 minutes. They got the outside scenes, but nothing. I don't see the point of it as a film. Fair enough if you're going to see it on stage. Some shows are great on stage for the acting purposes. You can sit there, they can go mad at each other, and it's live, and things happen, like, and that's fine. You can enjoy it that way. When you're trying to turn it into a film, you have to change it up.
They don't all transition well.
There was another one as well. I can't remember if it was legit a play or not, with Nicole Kidman. Similar thing. It was like a one-woman play made into a film.
You just don't do that. Like, you can't make a one-man show into a film. It just doesn't translate across.
No, you can do it the other way. Ask Chaz Palminteri. You can definitely do it the other way, even though he had the film first. It was his. But anyway, I digress, because he's fab. We love you, Chaz.
Mm-hmm. So it didn't really do much for me. Number 9 in my list.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have about it.
I have it as number 8.
Cool. And what did you think, Phil?
Again, I thought it was a play. I thought it was okay. It was better than Call Me By Your Name, for sure. I actually quite liked the phone thing because it was different. I thought that was something, because I wasn't on board with it at all. I was just kind of,
Yeah.
this is going thing, and then this happened. I was like, okay, this is interesting. I think
Yeah.
that's why it's not number 10,
Because of the phone.
because of the phone. Like the phone scene it's again, I'm thinking of filmmaking scenes. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
Filmmaking purposes.
Two.
Yeah, I just thought there was good tension there. What they really kind of, it was difficult to do because again, it's set for plays, like.
Yeah. I wish he'd mentioned the game earlier and
Yeah, they could have mentioned like
drifted-
that game we played or something,
yes,
you know. Yeah,
drifted in so we knew what to expect, because all of a sudden, like, they're all sat around the phone and I was like, do you know, I was just kind of a bit like that. So I think if they drip fed it a little bit, it would have been like, oh, I'm going to watch it for the game, you know. But yeah. Brilliant. So that was the boys in the band, get the band back together. And then at the top of their list was a very, very interesting choice. It's a movie called Moonlight. So a little bit of background on Moonlight is where we have teenager who is going through all of the teenager things that we all went through, not really sure of themselves, what they want from life, you know, where life is going to take them, be it emotionally, physically, in relationships, in business, in study, in, you know, a location, just don't know. So it touched on a lot of things. And obviously he's discovering his own sexuality as well in this movie. So it was number 1 on this list. Darling, would you like to kick off for Moonlight?
I enjoyed this film. It was number 3 on my list. Like I said, it's a story of 3 stages of growing up, basically, for the one character in the film. It was the first LGBTQ movie to ever win an Oscar, and
the controversy around it is still funny today.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the whole Oscar debacle of who was the right film to win. Who was the other one that won it and didn't win it, actually? What was the other?
Brokeback Mountain didn't win.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that should have won at the time, because Crash is just American propaganda, like.
Yeah. Very interesting story, you know, obviously, of, you know, this innocent child who's, you know, obviously getting raised in a broken home and a lot of drug use, and gets taken in kind of under the wing of the drug dealer who's actually supplying the drugs to his mother. At the start of it, I wasn't really sure what the relationship was going to turn into be between forgive me if I've pronounced his name, Mahershala Ali character and the child at the time. I wasn't really sure where it was leading to. I was a bit iffy of where they were going with it, but obviously they didn't actually touch on anything like that. So they staged on. He moved up into his adolescent years and ended up getting in trouble. Come to his later life where he's, you know, jacked and just out of prison and looking to change things up. And obviously he falls in love. As a teenager, he's fallen in love with his best friend as a child, and they start, you know, getting intimate with each other, and then they know each other for a lot of years. You know, he's turned into this, you know, what he was brought up not to want to be, as you know, a gangster, basically doing a lot of bad shit and finding his long lost love again. So it's a love story with a lot of other aspects of, a lot of branches off the one story. Like, but I really enjoyed it. It's a beautiful story. I think it definitely deserved the Oscar. And
yeah, it was good.
Forgive me for mispronouncing his name. I'm fucking terrible with his name. But he was also the first Muslim actor to win an Oscar as well.
And also as well, I think he was only in the film 20-something minutes.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Like that he's able to pick up the Oscar for that, you know, for that length of time. But it's not the first time somebody's won an Oscar for less screen time than that.
That is true. What you said there about this was number 6 on my list, but now that I'm like listening to your opinions on some of the other ones, I kind of wish I placed it a little bit higher, but at the time I placed it at 6. I think you're bang on with that, is that there was a lot going on in this movie, aside from him discovering his sexuality and trying to come to terms with, you know, he's unsure. So that was one aspect of the movie. But again, there was addiction, there was isolation, there was homophobia, there was bullying, there was family.
It hits all the boxes.
Relationship issues. You know, the society he grew up in. You know, there was lots going on there, but it wasn't overkill, and it's very hard to strike that balance. It wasn't like, you know, again, it's not forced, you know, you're not forced to, like, you know, and then this is wrong in his life and this is wrong in his life. It flowed, but it was like, no, this is his life. These aren't all different aspects of her life. This just is his life. He doesn't know outside this life. And, you know, you can see from God help us, such sad expressions on his little face when he's smaller, the fact that he would, you know, I mean, he, you know, subconsciously he knew what was going on, and that obviously his mother was buying drugs off the person he's now befriended, you know, who saved him from the bullies when he ran away in the first place. But yeah, there was a lot going on in this movie, but I think it was handled really, really well. So I'm wishing I placed it higher, but it is what it is. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyable, and there were some really, really beautiful scenes in this as well. The beach scenes, you know, the moonlight and everything, that was just the moonlight, of course. But you know, just I think because there was so much going on in the movie, those calm stills dotted in and around the movie, I think they were needed. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think Naomi Harris was brilliant in this as well. Like, she was brilliant. She was the only person to actually appear in all 3 acts stages. Like, she was ridiculous in it.
Yeah, really, really good. Unbelievable.
I give it 4 on my list.
4, yeah.
It would have actually been higher. It's just I wasn't a fan of the last story. I just thought it was too bland. There was, you know, I don't know, there's something just didn't click for me at all with the last bit.
Found him with the lads, is it?
Yeah, the last bit in the restaurant and the young man chatting. I just thought it was, I don't know, it just didn't click for me. Because I saw it in the cinema when it came out at the time, and I thought the exact same thing when it was over. I was like, the third story just lacked something.
It felt a bit flat.
Yeah, I don't know, is it the acting or what? I don't know. He didn't feel like he was the same guy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the second story is my favorite one. Really, really good.
Yeah.
And that scene where the mother takes all his money.
Oh my God, that was heartbreaking.
It's hard, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, again, I probably would have rated this higher if I liked the ending more. But no, it's 4 for sure. Yeah.
Cool. That's super, super interesting now. And that was a good chat now about all of those movies as well. I'm going to take a minute just to tally up our scores and combine our list. So please feel free to chat away amongst yourselves.
Yes, absolutely. We can talk about our next list. And now for July, we're taking a break for July. As Tom, we never mentioned. Per Tom.
Sorry, Tom who? No, sorry, no. New podcast, Who Dis? Who Dis? Tom. You finish the numbers and we'll talk about Tom. Tom is actually traveling at the minute. Tom's on a side hustle. He's a school teacher, so he's on a summer break, and now he's got for his 2-month vacation, whatever they do, teachers, whatever you do when you're away. But he was going to do the list. He was watching some of it, but you know, can't watch these films on flights when you can't really stream them anywhere, so we have to find actual stream for them. So shout out to Tom. He'll be back. We're going to come back in August, so we're looking at doing a top 10 1980s kids cartoons. Just on the back of the brand new Teenage Mutant and Ninja Turtle movie, which is due out on the 13th of August. Phil, is that right? Is it?
Yeah.
13th of August. Are you looking forward to that? Have you read?
Yeah, no, I loved the Turtles growing up, so it's all going to be great. Just watch. I'm just curious to how they're going to approach it.
Who's directing this one? Is it?
I'm not sure.
They're not going.
Is this the R-rated one, or is that something else that's coming out later?
I'm not sure. I think
there's an R-rated Turtles movie on the way.
I heard that as well. Yeah, I also heard that there's talks. I really hope it's not true, like that they're going to have some sort of multiverse fucking Turtles one, where they're going to have different versions of. They need to stop doing this now. Like,
they're going to appear in Animaniacs, and then they're going to turn around and feature in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
The Turtles do appear in a couple of Marvel comics, don't they? They have
They do.
branched into a couple of. Was it Marvel or DC Comics? I can't.
I think it's Marvel.
I think it's Marvel Comics. So they're not Marvel characters. They're not going to appear in any fucking Avenger movies.
I got Jackie Chan is Splinter in this one.
Say again.
Jackie Chan is Splinter.
He's Splinter, is he?
And
Oh
John Cena. John Cena's Rocksteady.
John Cena's Rocksteady. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Brock
Lesnar should be
who was
Bebop.
Sheamus? Bebop or Rocksteady in his one?
He was Rocksteady, I think.
Was he? Which one has the mohawk?
Oh, I'm not sure.
The pig or the rhino? Bebop is the pig, the hog, right?
Yeah. Rocksteady's the rhino.
Yeah. He was the rhino, I think.
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah, surprising, Nick. Sheamus. I was surprised Sheamus didn't get more roles after that. Like, I thought he was going to branch out into
take off. Yeah, like Samoa Joe has a big part in Twisted Metal that's coming out.
Nah, I've seen the clips of that as well. It looks mental.
Yeah.
And they're saying that Roman Reigns and Malachi Black are going to appear in a movie together, whether they're going to be in scenes together, but they're cast in a movie now as well. Both of them in the same movie.
Yeah.
I think that could be a launching pad if you've never seen Roman Reigns, if you're not a wrestling fan and you don't know who we're talking about, he's
Jason Momoa.
pretty much. He was in the Fast
9
spin-off. No, he was in Hobbs and Shaw, wasn't he?
I thought it was 9. Maybe it is Hobbs and Shaw. Yeah.
Roman was, wasn't he?
Yeah, with the Samoan family.
Jason Momoa was in 10. Like, there's such a fucking a twist. The Fast and Furious franchise has pretty much brought every wrestler and actor into.
Batista would probably join in next.
Definitely going to appear in the next one. He's going to pop up somewhere. Him and Vin Diesel are very good friends outside of the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. Like, so
it's coming.
And the fact that The Rock and John Cena are in the same movie, even though it's at the end credits and he just have a cameo, like, they're in the same universe, they're in the same franchise, like, it has to happen. Eventually we're going to have a film where I don't know whether they'll both be top billing or what's going to happen, like, but they can't keep them apart. They have to put them into a film eventually. I understand why they wouldn't want to be in a film. They want to be typecast as two big wrestlers who appear in a film, like, but
exactly.
John Cena's getting as big as The Rock as in the Hollywood franchises, like, so there's only a matter of time before one of them's the bad guy and one of them's a good guy in an action movie.
It is coming, yeah, definitely.
Who would it be? Would you rather have The Rock as the bad guy and Cena's a good guy, or Cena?
I think Cena would be the bad guy. In movies, I just think he is.
It's definitely a Netflix movie.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be in the cinema. You can do fucking Rock.
I think Batista's doing My Spy at the moment, the second one.
Another one.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There's another spin-off, isn't there, from what was the one in Vegas, the Apocalypse one?
Oh,
the heist one.
I know what you're on because they escaped in the helicopter.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
I can't remember the name of it.
No, I'm gonna have to look that up. Can't remember the name of it. But you know what I do remember the name of? The 10 movies that are in our list, because the list is ready. This is top of the pods list. To mind your Esquire list, to mind that list at all. This is how the list should have gone, really. Cruising in at number 10, Call Me by Every Name Under the Sun, which is what we pretty much did with that movie. In at number 10, Take Your Peaches and Feck Off. Number 9, BPM, 9 beats per minute. That is what this movie had for us. In at number 9. Number 8, Boys in the Band. Little bit of a confusing one all around, but as I said, maybe some films are destined for the stage, but maybe not destined to transition seamlessly over to the big silver screen. Carol was in at number 7. Anyway, do you know what? Doesn't even know what I've said my bit. Moving on to number 6, right? I won't go into it again. Number 6, The Roof is on Fire Island. The party place to be. Coming at number 6 on our list. Good old rom-com. Bit of crack watching it, a bit of a laugh, and we all love the happy ending. Do you know? So what can we say? With that then coming in at number 5, Can You Ever Forgive Me? Nice performance from Melissa McCarthy and of course our beloved Richard E. Grant. Love you. So rightly placed about number 5, right around the mid road. We all tend to enjoy this. Number 4, our Oscar favorite was Moonlight. Our Oscar-winning favorite was Moonlight. Great story. A lot of things touched on. I think we all thoroughly enjoyed this as well. Number 3, Boys Don't Cry, one of the most difficult movies to watch on this, but a movie that needed to be made and needs to be seen. If you haven't seen it already, please do make sure to take some time and find that movie, sit down and give it a watch, because it's educational to say the least. Number 2, Tom Hanks and Denzel in with Philadelphia. Yeah, Denzel was Oscar worthy in this, and good nod to you, Phil, where you were saying that he was just the actor of the time. Now, obviously, Tom Hanks is like, is timeless. He's always around, the kind of way. There's never any getting rid of Tom Hanks.
I think around that time, there was Malcolm X, Glory, yes. And there was a kind of jazzy one as well.
Yes.
I can't remember the name of it.
And he just, what a great casting call for that movie, because the attention he would have brought to it, aside from the work that Tom Hanks put into his role, unbelievable. Number 2, worthy placement for this, definitely. To be honest with you, the top 3 were interchangeable. They really, really were. But topping our list was The Birdcage. Great movie. We all thoroughly enjoyed it. We all placed it really, really highly. And I think a very, very worthy taker of the number 1 spot. What do you think of this, guys?
Yeah, I actually, you know what? I haven't seen half of them. So it was good to watch. I enjoyed them overall.
Yeah. It was a struggle watching some of them, but going back over them now, when you look at even in the top 5, there's 5 fantastic movies there that you can watch, even if you don't want to watch the top 10.
Yeah,
watch those top 5 that we have just done, because they're phenomenal movies.
Yeah. And we're all learning, we're all evolving, we're all educating ourselves. And I think this movie really, really helped us as well, because we don't know everything, but we wanted to know more, hence why we did this list, and to coincide with, of course, the month of Pride for June, and it was important that we highlighted these movies during this month, definitely educational purposes for us. More than anything, these were very, very educational for us, and historically as well, because just to see how far things have progressed, but which is great and very positive, but to see where things were, is an absolute eye-opener. So even if you do make the top 5 of this list, lads, it's definitely worth having a little watch. If you make the top 10, fantastic. If you sit through the last 3, fair play to you. But so yeah, that is our list. Don't forget to join us for our next one in August, where we'll be doing the 1980s cartoons, which is going to be fabulous, because we were all reared on them. I'm so excited. Well, some of us were. We're reared on those cartoons, so definitely tune in for that. I want to say a massive, massive thank you to Darling, to yourself, and of course to our soon-to-be hugely famous friend Phil, who joined us this evening. Don't forget us, Phil, when you're living in that big, huge house on the coast over on the west of the USA.
A big movie now, when we'll all be living in paradise.
That'd be amazing. We just pop over to see
We can live in that big pink house in Malibu. Did you see that clip today? The Barbie house just appeared out of nowhere in Malibu.
Can we live in the Barbie house? Can we paint our house pink outside?
No.
We totally can. I am totally going to talk you around. So aside from me painting my house pink, aside from us painting our house pink, that's what I meant. Guys, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. What did you think of the list? Were there movies on it that you, like us, feel that were maybe not in the top 10 and should have been in the top 10? Or maybe did you have something else at the top of your list? Did you agree? Did you disagree? We'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Make sure and like and subscribe too. You'll have access to all of our other lists and our previous lists as well. And you'll get to see Tom when he's back from his fabulous adventures. If you are not following us already on all forms of social media, be it Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, of course, where we have millions and millions of views, and of course, YouTube. Get on it. We're at Irish Wrestling 8. So make sure to hook us up, get on to us, let us know. Maybe you have an idea for a list. Fantastic. Send it through our way. We would only be delighted to consider it for one of our podcasts on top of the pods. Massive thank you to Manscaped, of course, as we mentioned earlier, who are sponsoring this episode of our Top of the Pods podcast. IWE20 at checkout, you will get 20% off your order, and you will also, of course, get free shipping. Don't forget the 4.0 package. So from myself being Sensation Queen Lizzie at your service, himself being Booker G for 5 times, and of course, the one and only master behind the screen, our own Phil Connolly. Have an absolutely fantastic evening and the rest of Pride Month. Whatever you're doing in your celebrations, make sure you enjoy them, stay safe, and we will see you again in August for our next episode. Bye for now.
Bye.